everybody.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us on the podcast. This is the Mortgage Mike Speaks podcast.
Yeah.
I am Steven Salinas. I'm
Yeah.
one of the lenders here, a part of the Mortgage Mike group.
Yeah.
got-
You're my business partner.
Yes, sir.
And I'm Mike McFarland, the Mortgage Mike in the Mortgage Mike group.
Yeah, we got some special guests
We
for
sure
us
do.
today. We've got Derek Boles,
Yeah. With
or
Legacy.
Broker Boles.
Yeah. Broker Boles.
Yes.
If you can see his shirt.
Oh, yeah.
This,
Oh, yeah.
And
the man, the myth,
Hey,
Broker Boles.
hey, I support the message. I support the message. Yes.
yes, sir. We also got Anthony Price with us here
Yeah.
today.
How you doing?
Thank you guys for
Good.
joining us.
Good to see you guys.
Yeah,
Sure.
today we're going to be kind of talking about y'all's story. What really sets y'all apart in the market. We'd love to hear, Derek, where you came from and, where you're at now.
Background.
Where
We're
you
under a
going?
rock somewhere. So a little bit of the background, born and raised Houston guy, northeast part of Houston, went to North Shore,
Yeah.
left there, played some football, took those talents to Trinity University, San Antonio,
Cool.
played some ball out there for 4 years, graduated with a business degree. Initially went into some investment banking that transitioned into some event planning and public education. So I did both of those things for a number of years. I was in public education for maybe a total of 10 years.
Sorry.
And yeah, definitely loving on the kiddies. I was in the middle school level, so I coached football and basketball and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
And while I was in education, kind of got into real estate, more so on the investor side initially. And the investor side turned into getting the license and, tell a friend, they told a friend, and the business just kind of grew from there. Started the first brokerage in 2015
Okay.
with a couple business partners. And by 2019, Legacy was born. And here we are today.
Nice.
Awesome.
So that's definitely the remix version of it. But yeah.
I love it.
So, I would say, Derek, what do you think the foundation of Legacy is? When you think of the company, what it represents, what you represent in the midst of it, what is Legacy?
I would say Legacy is family. I would say Legacy is putting something in play that will outlive you and outlive us and outlive everybody here at this table.
Yeah.
But if we invest in people and we invest in our communities and we invest in our loved ones, then we can really spread like a wildfire and be a lot bigger than we could ever be on by ourselves individually.
Right.
So I really think that's the premise of it at its core, because to grow a brokerage of this size, we want to see our agents do great. We want to see our agents birth other agents, and we want to see their children be interested in the business, and it can really just turn into something that's huge. And it's not about one person individually necessarily. It's really about that footprint that we leave when it's all said and done.
You'd mentioned
awesome,
you started with 11.
Yes.
Right, 11 and is that in 2019?
2019.
Again,
Yes,
I know Anthony was part of that with you.
Correct.
How many real estate agents do you have working?
We're over 130, somewhere between 130 and 140, somewhere in there.
Right. That's wildfire.
Yes, it's grown pretty fast. It's growing pretty fast. But what I love about it is, even on the client side, is people choose who they want their real estate representative to be. They choose who they want their broker to be. You can't buy them. You can't make them. They have to want to work with you. They have to want to be a part of what you're doing. And so the fact that people like Anthony and the other agents that work with us at Legacy have chosen to be a part of what we're doing, I feel like it's special. And I'm proud of that, because they definitely have the option to be wherever they choose to be.
Right. Well, and I gotta pull up the faith part of this, because I love your cross, and then I keep staring at your wrist because you got a band on there.
Oh,
Mark 536.
Yes, sir.
Tell us about that.
Mark 536. Honestly, I was having a really bad time personally in life, and I went to a different church service on this particular day, and that was the sermon that was preached on that particular day. And it's along the lines of, do not be afraid, but always believe. And fear is crippling, and God does not give us a spirit of fear. And so it's just something that I just try to lean on, because there's businesses that we don't birth out of fear. There's challenges that we don't go after out of fear. There's people that we don't confront, or we don't we don't do the things that we need to do just out of fear of what's going to be on the other side. And that's something that really stuck with me. And on that particular day, that sermon spoke to me. And so it's right here as a reminder. For sure.
That's awesome. I like what you said. I mean, you don't want your decision to be based on fear.
Correct.
Even saying yes to something or saying no to something.
For sure.
I mean, you're basically, I mean, making a decision on fear. You could even be taking the safe route.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I think, yeah, you do have to take a step of faith, doing the things that you're doing.
Correct.
You know, running a business. Anthony, I'd love to hear, just know what got you in. I know you've been with
Originally,
the brokerage for a
original
while.
11, so, but
Y'all want me to start with, like the personal background, just what got me in the
no,
real
Yeah,
you-
man, we
give
can-
us some personal background.
Yeah, we can get
Give us some
in a
real estate,
snippet.
yeah.
I was telling them this when he came and got me from the other suite. I'm from Orange, Texas.
Yeah.
Small town on
Yeah.
the Texas-Louisiana border. So whenever you hear this accent, like it's something that I don't sugarcoat. Like I'm really
Yeah.
like have a twang to my
Yeah.
to how I speak or whatever. But I came out here to Houston probably about 20 years ago.
Okay.
Went to Texas Southern University, graduated from there, undergrad and grad, and started working, kind of like Derek.
Yeah.
And I had always wanted to get into investment properties and whatnot. I just didn't know how. And so I ended up taking a course at Champion School of Real Estate.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, well, I kind of know more about real estate versus the average person. Like, let me think about getting my license. Reached out to my aunt, my grandmother, my last living grandparent. Reached out to her sister. She's been in the industry for like 30 plus years. So she like plethora of knowledge and wealth.
Yeah.
Her and her son up in Dallas, they was like, go on in and get the license. When took the test or whatever, hollered at Derek probably like a month later. And I had Keller Williams like talking to me also. So I'm thinking like Keller Williams then hollered at me, hey, about to just, I'm doing something good, not knowing like idiot, they talk to everybody, in taking these courses. So what honestly like steered me towards them, Derek actually had me talk to one of his business partners first. Then I spoke to him.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I just felt comfortable with them. And then I'm cheap also. I'm like, I done blew all this money trying to, finish real estate school and everything and get these certifications. So I ended up going with not Legacy, Generation Realty, because that's who he was partnered with at that time.
Gotcha.
And then I want to say I had been there for about a year, and he gave me a phone call. He was like, you busy? I was like, no. He was like, hey, I'm thinking about doing my own thing. I was like, I'm done. Just let me know when.
Yeah.
And the rest is kind of history with regard to, what I've been able to accomplish working under him, meeting other people, and just kind of being able to like to get, leave my own imprint in the real estate game and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it, man.
So we were talking earlier, you're bivocational. I mean, you're actually doing this you're doing real estate and you have another career on top of that, which is pretty impressive, especially with the amount of transactions that you're doing, the families that you're helping serve. Like, how do you, other than like, I know the gray hair is coming in. I got mine too, man. So, but how does that, like, how do you do it? How do you manage that?
Honestly, I grew up hard. I didn't have a best life growing up. So with that being said, like I got 2 degrees in engineering. A lot of people helped me out along the way. It wasn't family. Turned into family.
Yeah.
Wasn't family. And with that being said, like I didn't like the effort and the amount of time that I put into, going to school, getting these certifications, doing things of that nature, internships, stuff like that. I wasn't prepared to let it go. And like I said, I don't come from much. So I had to kind of stick it out. I'm like, I can't go on nobody's benefits.
Yeah.
I gotta give me a retirement, and whatnot. But real estate is doing great. So even now, like I'm still doing pretty good, even with these high interest rates and the prices in Houston skyrocketing more than what we've seen. We rivaling other areas of the country. It was kind of like you seen where you came from, you seen what God took you from. Like he's going to bring you a lot further. But at the end of the day, man, like I look back on where I came from and I'm like, nah, like it is more to like I gotta keep going. As long as I got the flexibility, the clients are coming in and I'm able to, shift things around and make things to where I can, I'm flexible, and I'm able to get out and do stuff. Like I'm gonna continue to do it.
Yeah.
And it ain't about greed. It's more so like this is what I prayed for. This is what I've worked hard for. This is the manifestation. Like keep going, and continue to bless us.
That's such a beautiful.
I love it. And it honestly is going to go into like how you treat your clients and also just like how they relate to you. I mean, I think home buying it's a scary process. And yeah, Mike and I, we have a saying where everybody can be a homeowner. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's something that we can all kind of just look at. I know for us, when someone comes to us, they're putting their trust in us that we're going to take care of them.
Yeah.
We're going to put them in the best situation because it does affect generations. It does go for legacies. And
well, we just know that like God puts people before us, right? And it was like his economy is built on service to each other, right? So when the Lord brings us somebody to work with, then part of our our duty, right? What we owe back to the Lord is to treat those people with the right dignity and respect, give them a safe, secure place to come to us so that we can guide them into that legacy of wealth, right? And if that's today, great. If that's a couple years down the road because we got to get things in order, then we do that. If it's because you want to get into this and learn how to invest in real estate and really build a legacy, we can help you do that as well.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
So,
sure. And you'll see some families that mom never owned a home, grandma never owned a home, aunt, uncle never owned a home. And so when that person comes to you, it's really an honor. It really is because they said, for one, they made the decision that I'm going to break this cycle of we're going to pay someone rent until we're no longer here. So that takes some courage right there. And then they're entrusting you to be the person to kind of walk them through that process. And that's a big deal. And what I say to myself is when I'm working with that person is if we can get this done, everything after for this entire family lineage is now going to be different because now I can say, well, my dad had a house, so it's not a big deal for me to go get one. Because when we're using certain terms or we're using certain terminology, what have you, if no one around you has ever done it, it's really a foreign language and it can be intimidating, So we kind of have to rewind our own minds back to when we didn't know anything about real estate, how we would want someone to handle us and speak to us and speak to them on the level that they are, bringing them along, but still speak to them on the level that they are. Sometimes people won't try to get a property because they're so intimidated about, people are going to be speaking over my head. People are going to be talking down to me. And I'm intimidated about that process. So, let me just leave it alone. Let me just stay in this apartment. But if we can understand where they're coming from, like, look, don't assume that, they've been exposed to this stuff because they haven't. But we all make enough money. I don't care who you are. You make enough money to have a property. It may not be, Fresh Prince of Bel Air, but you make enough money to own something. Okay, so let's get you in something. It's yours because if you can give your child or your grandchild and say, look, I know you're out of school. Here's this. You can stay there as long as you want. You don't have to pay anything. And this can be to take some of that stress off of you when you first get done. When you first get into adulthood, that's priceless. That's priceless. I have daughters. Okay, I have little girls. I want them to have the option to say, you know what, mom and dad put this in place so I can be here and I can be comfortable until I'm ready to spread my wings and fly. I don't want them to say, I got bills, I got to go. I'm going to take whatever job I can because I got to go. You don't want people to have to be in that position. And real estate is a great tool to eliminate some of that overhead and stress off of people, especially in early adulthood. Because someone that's 21 that's bogged down with debt and a job doesn't pay enough and it works you too hard, that's a tough spot to be in. That's a tough spot to be in. And a lot of our clients, especially our younger clients, are in that spot where it's like, look, I want a house, but I got to pay them back. I just signed a car note. It's tough, but if we can lay some of the groundwork now and be in a position where we're like, look, okay, you have these, even if let's say it's 3 properties by the time you get to
Yeah.
your retirement years, that's priceless for a family
Yeah.
that, you know, have
Could be
young
$1
people
million
coming up.
in-
I mean, you can put in your will that no one can sell these things and they're just going to sit right there and the family uses them whenever somebody goes through a divorce, somebody gets sick, somebody loses their job, but these properties are there for people to have access to. That's a big
Wow.
deal. That's a
and
big
that's
deal.
legacy.
That's a
right?
big deal.
Yeah.
And that's breaking generational curse.
It is.
Right. That's breaking the curse and a cycle of a poverty mentality, or I can't, or whatever that is. And it says, no, you can. That you are
Yeah.
empowered, right? And we can help you do this.
Yeah.
For sure.
And you're looking at them, you're not just looking at this as just a transaction. Like,
No.
you know, this relationship that you have, you're thinking about like 10 years from now.
For sure.
And
Right.
you're even thinking about, you know, I know you mentioned, you know, these kind of younger clients they're getting out of school, they've got student loans, they've got car payments, they've got all these different things. And you're almost kind of, you're just getting all the info. And even us too, we're helping them manage debt. You know, we're here to say like, hey, you can actually put this amount down and let's start chipping down this credit
let's pay
card.
this off.
Yeah.
And like, let's not put everything in the house.
You're like, wait a
Let's
second.
take the weight of debt and push it down so that it's not so high that you can't breathe every month.
Yeah.
Trying to make your monthly payments.
Yeah. And what I think is cool because, you know, my man Anthony has a couple gray hairs. I have a couple in the beard, you know. So what I think is cool is that our clients grow up with us, right? So we can take them from starter home to medium home to I just got married home to I'm senior VP home to retirement home. You know, your clients grow up with you. So most of the time, if you're a younger agent, you have younger clients, they're buying that starter property. But you stay in the business if you last. Now they just get married, they start to have kids. Now they're a big shot at the job, and your clients grow up with you. I think that's really cool to watch that happen because when you see the phone ring from a client from 5 years ago, you know, okay, good news is probably coming because you know, as we grow, our life situation changes, and now we need to relocate a little bit. And I think that that's awesome to watch our clients grow with us. I mean, I have students that I've sold houses to. I have students that have their license now, you know, that work at Legacy, and so it's really awesome. It's really awesome.
And think how old were you when you got your first house?
I want to say 38 now, so 35.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
35. Yeah.
Great.
And honestly, I thought it probably would have, you know, most people think that you got to make a lot of money, like Derek said, or you got to be married. And it was more so like, okay, I'm doing okay, but I need to stop paying rent and put my money where my mouth is. I can't tell people like, you should do this and do that, you know, and then I don't do it myself. So I practice what I preach.
Yeah.
And it translated into 2 other properties that's been purchased.
Right.
You know, on my behalf. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So look what starts with that. It's so good.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're really, Derek, you're really setting the example of just like how to carry yourself as like a real estate agent for all the people in your brokerage.
That's
And
the truth.
I think what you're doing, like the mentorship that you're offering, I know when we've talked before, I mean, one of the major reasons that people move from brokerage to brokerage is I never talk to my broker or I don't have the resources. What is it like kind of in your brokerage? Why do people stay? You know, what's the kind of the biggest draw to it?
I feel like our leadership is approachable. I feel like our leadership has really a passion for the business. I feel like we are practicing what we preach for the most part. I've started owning property at 23. It always made sense to me. I don't invest in stocks. I don't have crypto. I don't do a lot of that stuff. Everything's in real estate. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with those things, but I love it so much and I'm involved in it so much that, you know, there's a lot that I can share that can help whoever is interested in being really engulfed in this business. I don't try to do everything myself. And I'm very loud about that because you are limited. We are all man, so we're all limited in what we can output. So I try to surround myself with great people, and when you surround yourself with great people, you have a great environment. You have a great environment. People want to be a part of it, and yeah, I mean, I will remove myself from someone that's bad for the environment before any dollars are considered there, you know, because if you're going to disrupt the environment now, you know, the peace that we have and the fire that we have for what we're doing and for what we're doing with our clients and the growth path that we're on, I don't want anybody to disrupt that ever, you know, because you are a representation of me, I'm a representation of you, you know, because at some point it's like that legacy agent did this, that legacy agent did that, you know, sometimes the names are taken off of it. It's like I was working with legacy and this is what happened. So we want more positive stories out there than negative stories. Okay. And yeah, I just think that we've created a great environment where agents want to be a part of it and want to see us do well. And so that would be what I would my answer to that one. Hopefully I'm right.
Yeah, I feel it. I mean, I think you lead from like a place of humility. I think you really do have to like get low with people. Like you have to get into the trenches with people, and that comes from experience. And you know, being able to see perspective and even you know, leading like a team of 100 plus agents, you know, meeting you, like you would never even know. I mean, I think that's an awesome thing because, you know, you're approachable. And I think, like what you're doing is you are creating that environment, that peaceful environment where people can fail and
it's okay.
Do well,
we'll
you
bounce
know,
back.
it's like we'll bounce back. And, man, I love that. I think that's really, really cool.
And, you know, to touch on something that Anthony said, and I think this is the truth for both of us, and I appreciate this fact, is that when you say, hey, you're so approachable, you're so down to earth, yada, yada. Well, I wasn't born this guy.
No.
You know, I was born that guy, you know. And so since we've seen life on kind of both sides of the track, you know, we were, you know, I was in a duplex. When people said, do you know how to cut grass? Well, I didn't have a yard to learn how to cut grass. So that's just what it was. And so because we know that if things go this way, then life can look different. But if you do the right things in life looks this way. I think that we don't forget that stuff. You know, we don't forget sharing a bed, or we don't forget. And this isn't to glorify any struggle, but we know that life can be this or life can be that. And so we don't sit here today feeling or thinking that, you know, you have to win every day. You know, sometimes you don't. And that's okay. I mean, there's lessons in not winning also. You know, of course, we would prefer to win more days.
You learn more when you
but there's lessons there as well. And so so yeah, now our kids, you know,
there's different.
that's different, right? You know, they were born with a media room. You know, I didn't know what a media room was when I was little. But definitely for us, we've lived different phases of life, you know, and we're in a blessed season now where things are going well. And if ever we fell into a season where things weren't, I mean, we would regroup and figure it out and pray on it and pivot if we have to. But I think that's what keeps you humble when you know that you're not going to win every day. You know, you're not going to close a deal every day. I mean, it's all a process. It's all part of this circle of life thing.
Yeah.
No, you're right.
I think, and Stephen and I talked it's like, are we doing our work or are we doing his work? Right? Like I want to come into a space and an environment and make sure that I'm walking this out in the way that the Lord is directing me and not being the one that's trying to direct the Lord. And when I don't want to do my plan, I want to do the Lord's plan.
For sure.
And what is that?
And you'll do more, honestly.
Right.
I mean, I think we're all saying the same thing, you know, like our life and our business is a gift, right? And what do we do with that gift and our gifts? You know, we have different gifts, and we're exceptional at different things. And like, what do we do with those things? And also, how do we surround ourselves with people to do the things that we're not really good at?
Right.
That's the truth.
That's
for
huge.
sure.
Yeah.
Well, what as we kind of close it out, what is something that we can share with y'all's listeners, you know, with all the people that are gonna be listening that are going into this market? You know, what to expect, and how do they stay motivated? You know, why?
So Anthony, I'm gonna let you speak to the client side of this. I'll speak to the realtor side of
I think that's a great idea.
Run it by me one more time.
Yeah. So if you're talking to a client, they tell you, like, should I do it now, or should I wait 10 years?
Here's what was here. Well, interest rates, I'm like, they're so high. This isn't the time to buy a home, right? I mean, we come out of 60 days ago and you couldn't get a contract unless you're 60 grand over and you're the first one there. Now it's different, right? The market's completely different. We have interest rates that are, and what we deal with clients is that all the rates are too high, and we're like, well, this is the best time to buy. And I can tell you why. But how do you prepare your clients in a shifting market, because it has changed in pretty short order? So.
What I kind of in the near past, if there's actually a term, like this past spring, this past summer, I'm gonna take a quote or a saying from one of our team members, Brittany Payne. She mentioned and I kind of did similar things. I just didn't articulate it like she did. She said she had clients approach her about that concern as far as the rates and then the purchase prices of the homes. And then knowing the market, if you're a good realtor, you know that, a lot of the prices were jacked up at one point, but from a new construction perspective, a lot of these builders were dropping the prices because people weren't coming. They were scared of the rates, So I had a few clients come up to me and kind of say, well, we want the house or whatever, but the rates are too high. And I told them, I was like, look, the rates are not going to be there forever. Things change. What Brittany told me, she was like, yo, you married a home, but you date the rate.
That's it. That's it.
And
we like that one.
Yeah, and if you continue to do a lot of the good practices that a good not only a good real estate agent will tell you, but a good loan officer will tell you as well, like, keep a good sense of revolving credit, keep the debt to income down, keep your credit score up and whatnot. Once these rates, drop or it gets to a point to where you can like refinance, go ahead and refinance, because guess what? You've already locked the price in, you can definitely decrease your monthly payment,
Yeah, you're right.
So, I would, tell
That's
them
great
that.
advice.
Yeah. And 6 months from now, like a 6% interest rate might be looking real good.
Like, wow, that's nice.
Hopefully not.
I love it. That's great, man. I mean, it's so true. You're getting in the house, you're creating the security. It's not about payment or it's not about rate. It's about an investment.
Yeah. And not to talk your ear off, you hear a lot about the market is going to crash. And I kind of tell people that come to me with that statement and whatnot, I'm like, the market won't crash. The prices might level off for just a little bit, but we're not going to see a $500,000 house be reduced to $300,000. That's just not going to happen. If anything, it'll stay stagnant for a while, but it's going to continue to go up. So honestly, if you are doing what you need to do as far as like saving, getting your credit right, talking to a good mortgage team, having a realtor that has your back, and giving you wise decisions on, the type of house you need, not that you want, everything will be all right.
Yeah, you're right about that, man. Cool.
Derek, how about your side, the agent side of this?
Well, well, in any business, there's going to be, ups, downs, and kind of plateau stages. So when you're not as busy, spend time doing things that you can't do when you are busy. Spend time educating yourself, spend time grooming yourself, spend time exposing yourself to different markets that you otherwise wouldn't have time to make yourself exposed to. Spend time getting more organized. Spend time getting the proper support staff around you, because when it's go time, you don't have time for any of that stuff. It's like, let me just get these deals closed. And when the deals get closed, then I'll sit down somewhere. So when you have a little downtime, let's make yourself a better agent that way, so that as things crank back up, those things are in place. But yeah, I mean, there's always something to do to better yourself in your business. And it's not always at the closing table. It's just not, because when that experienced buyer comes to you, that experienced seller comes to you, you don't want to speak to them as if they're the novice,
Right.
because some of our clients, they watch HGTV too. And so
Right.
they know a few things,
Yeah.
so you don't want them educating you on the type of carpet this is and the type of walls those are. Spend times kind of diving into those books and diving into that information so that you can make yourself a better agent overall. And just take it as this is a different time in my business, but my business is still going to be on an upward trajectory.
Yeah.
Still be patient. I mean, in any business, I don't care if you're selling t-shirts, I don't care if it's a car wash, you have to be patient for that overall success that you're looking for. Anthony is awesome. Year one, he wasn't this Anthony. Year one, I wasn't this broker. So we're all in the process of getting better. We're all in the process of our growth. And it's frustrating for people when they meet you at this level because they think that you have the shortcut to get the shit. I said a bad word. If I had a 6-month fix, I would have used that. Right.
Yeah.
If it took me 10 years, then it might take you 5, but it's not going to take you 5 months. Okay.
Yeah.
And so that's people don't want to hear that,
They
but
really don't.
Yeah.
There's no silver bullet.
there isn't one.
No.
If there was, we write a book and just none of us would be here. We'd all be billionaires,
Yeah.
So yeah, people have to buy into the process, understand that nothing happens overnight. I know this sounds cliche, but when you find the mortgage broker or the real estate broker that became a billionaire in year one, I would love to take that guy to lunch. I would just
read that book. I definitely want to read that book.
Yeah. I read it.
Yeah.
Guys, thanks again for coming. We're in your court. Y'all are doing some awesome things in the
you are,
city.
definitely.
So
Yeah,
keep
thanks
it
for what
up.
You do. Thanks for what you both represent.
Thanks,
to
man.
Clients and doing business in a way that honors people.
For sure.
Yeah, and that's really. We're just honored to have you guys on the show and get to know you better and hear that part of the story because you don't hear that all the time. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
All right, guys. Well,
thanks for having us.
if you like what you're hearing, like it and share it.
Comment, share, whatever's down here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys next time.
See you next
All
time.
right.
Peace out.